Well, is there a silver shortage, or maybe is there something else afoot? I don't know, I'm just a guy who talks about shiny things. But what I want to talk about today is my own experiences selling all this stuff and how easy that can be, but also talking about the other things that might be going on in this world with regards to the silver shortage that's happening. There is definitely a shortage of physical silver, but we're not going to see the end of coins and bars anytime soon. There's so much out there. So let's dive in and talk about how much or how little silver there might well be in this world and what that means for your stack. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a warm welcome to you all joining me for another precious metal ramble. Now, is there a shortage of silver at the moment? Are we seeing a silver squeeze? Well, the answer is a little bit yes and a little bit no. The little bit no is that we're not seeing any shortage of the metal of silver. It's in very high demand right now, but there's a lot of silver out there in this world, and there will be for a very long time. So don't bank on the idea of silver running out and it suddenly becoming as valuable as gold, because there's not much out there. However, what I would say is that we're seeing unprecedented levels of demand once again for physical silver in various different economies and markets around the world. And I can speak from my own personal experience and attest for just how popular and fast silver sells right now, and actually faster than gold. I've had struggles selling some gold at 1 or 2% over spot. Now, I say struggles, I mean it's taken me 12, 24 hours to sell it rather than the 3 minutes that sometimes it takes to sell silver, even at a premium. So there's definitely something afoot, so to speak, right now with the world of silver, and it's certainly proving to be exceptionally popular. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my thoughts and opinions on that, some of my experiences, and how that plays into my own thinking about whether I want to buy any more silver for my own personal stack and investments, or am I just sticking with gold, or am I just kind of not doing any or either of both of those. So lots to get through in today's video, and I do hope that you all enjoy it, and if you do, please do hit that thumbs up button. It'd be great to hear from you down in the comment section as well, to see what you think about the current markets for silver and whether or not there is really this crippling shortage, because I'm seeing a lot of videos out there, good videos as well, I would hasten to add, and I don't have anything wrong with the videos of the likes of someone like Silver Seeker, who I'll try and remember to link in the description if you haven't heard of him. He's over 120,000 subs or something, so I'm sure you have, but he's doing a great amount of work finding out premiums on various different items and the real market data for them as well, which is fascinating. And it does seem like silver is immensely popular right now, and it's certainly on the rise. So we've definitely seen this organic growth for silver that's now, we're in this post-era of the silly hype of the silver squeeze movement, so to speak. You know, can we break the COMEX type things? And we're now actually seeing a much more sort of holistic, organic growth of silver within various markets, and that's great to see. It's also, I think, quite telling. It's like those questions you always get when you know, you're down at the shops and you know, your checkout lady starts talking to you about silver. You know that it's popular, you know that something is afoot, and that's, I feel like, where we are right now. The whole market for silver is somewhat saturated in that there's so many content creators, there's so many different dealers, there's so many different social media sort of outlets out there talking about how great it is and how it's going to perform over a longer period of time. And I think a lot of people are genuinely now thinking the same thing, and I don't blame them, because from my perspective as a stacker of silver, I can't really bear to part with a lot of the stuff that I have. Now, that's not to say that the things that I sell, I won't sell at some point. You know, I do have commissions where people are looking to sell bits of silver, and from my experience, those bits of silver sell so quick. They are gone in the blink of an eye, and it's really quite telling, because the comparison with gold is stark. Gold, at the moment, all-time highs for gold in the UK, pretty high prices in the US as well. But it's hard to shift at a decent price. You know, gone are the days when you would have a £50 or £60 premium on top for something like an eagle or a buffalo. Here in the UK, you have to price your gold at like £30 over spot, otherwise it's not competitive at all. And I think that's quite fascinating and quite interesting. So silver is obviously way more popular in terms of that mass selling potential, and for a lot of buyers out there it's of course a lot more affordable than buying an ounce of gold. It still comes with its pitfalls that I've had and talked about in the past in terms of premiums, and premiums are a thing that continue to concern me. We try as hard as we possibly can to get the premiums down on the things that we sell on behalf of third parties, but certainly dealers right now are loving the so-called shortage. Now, you've got to take these things with a pinch of salt. You just never quite know what is really going on behind the scenes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that in part 2 of this video, which is following a little and short word from our sponsor today. So we're going to jump over to the computer and have a look at Uranium Corp, who are our sponsors for today. So today's video is sponsored by Uranium Royalty Corp, and a big thank you to them for sponsoring this video. If you want to find out more about them, there's a link in the description box below to their website as well as their corporate presentation. Now, I am not a financial investment advisor or investment guru. I'm just a guy who talks about shiny things. Their ticker symbols are here on the screen, and if you're interested and you want to invest, then please have a look and do your own research. Now, if you've never heard of Uranium Royalty Corp before, they are the first and only pure play uranium royalty company. What does that mean? They have royalties on various plots and properties around North America. And if we look in their corporate presentation, you can see a little map there of all the various different projects that they've got going on right now. And essentially they will develop projects and they will develop areas to a point where they will hand it over to a mining company, somebody who will actually take it out of the ground. And I think that's quite interesting. We've done focused videos like this on silver and gold, focused royalty companies, and especially when I'm talking about the shortage, inverted commas, of silver out there in this world, I think it's worth reminding ourselves just how big the world is and how much gold and silver and also precious metal resources there are out there. Not to mention things like uranium as well. Now, uranium is a big, important industrial commodity for the modern world we live in. It's fueling countries, it's fueling, of course, all of the nuclear weapons out there, but at the same time, the main use for it is that energy, which we are so reliant on at the moment. Whether it'll still be as important in the future with the advent of solar energy and solar power and renewables, I don't know. Silver's probably going to play a pretty key role in that, but one thing is for certain, that is not an easy fix, and the world of uranium is still an important one. So to have a company that is focused solely on bringing more of this to market, I think is very interesting. Now, I'm not going into all of the minute details here in this little sponsored section of the video, but needless to say, there's a lot going on, a lot of various projects. Let's just head back up to the map here, and you can see and this is just North America, all across North America, there are huge potential deposits of just uranium. Now, don't forget as well that there are plenty of other sites out there for gold and silver, and these are just the uranium ones, and there's so many. You see here, 1.7 million pounds of uranium, which is pretty mad. And I do think that it's quite interesting as well that uranium is priced less than gold at the moment. That's quite funny, considering how rare uranium is compared with other things like gold, even platinum. It is quite funny. But that is the way the world works, I guess. Sometimes we pay a little bit more attention to the things that are physical in front of us rather than the stuff that's running in the background that actually helps create a lot of the things that we use in our modern world. So if you're interested in finding out more about Uranium Royalty Corp, then I would highly recommend you go and check out their website and their corporate presentation in full. There's, like 30, 40 pages worth of information here, which I don't have time to go through everything with you on this video, and I'm sure that wouldn't be as entertaining as me going back to a beautiful array of shiny things. But I do find it interesting. I do find it, for somebody who's never invested in anything to do with sort of this world of uranium or uranium mining, I do find it interesting. Will I be investing? I would have to do an awful lot more research to look into it, but it is certainly an interesting concept. So go and check it out if you're interested. There's a link in the description below, as I mentioned. There's also a link in the description to the disclaimer for our sponsorship today, if you are interested in finding out more about that. Thank you again, and let's get back to the table full of shiny things. So a big thank you once again to Uranium Royalty Corp for sponsoring today's video. And I said in the first part that I'd now touch on whether or not there's really this big squeeze happening, or whether it's just, again, the dealers looking to capitalize on what's happening right now. So if you're a dealer and you've been any sort of sensible semblance of, a business person, there's a very good chance that over the last 3 or 4 months, you've been stocking up and keeping an arsenal of silver in the background ready for when prices go up. Having sort of, dabbled in the world of being a dealer, I'd have loved to have held on to a lot of the silver that I've been selling, because I know that silver will at some point be higher price, which is why I'm not selling my own personal silver, just selling when other people need to sell their silver. And if a dealer out there, certainly a big one, hasn't stockpiled on a whole bunch of physical silver to then capitalize, then they're not really worth their salt, in my opinion. But it's one of those kind of double-edged swords, really, because you want to, of course, as a consumer, get the best price possible for all of your purchases. But from a dealer's perspective, their job is to make money. If the dealers thought that silver was the best thing in the world, then perhaps they would not sell what they're selling. Perhaps that's one of the contributing factors to the supposed silver squeeze and shortage that's happening right now. If you're a big dealer and you've got, you've seen an organic growth of silver price from, $4, $5, $6 an ounce over the last 3 months, and you've got a whole bunch of stock, you just trickle it out. You keep enough turning over to, keep the lights on, to make sure that there's enough sort of customers still coming back and buying, otherwise they'll lose interest and find another dealer out there. Go on camera, I know it's bad lighting today, but there we go. Or do you, sell everything all at once and then have no customers coming in whatsoever, and then everybody flocks to your competitors? So I definitely think there's a part of that to play. We've always seen when these sort of situations happen where there is this, inverted commas, shortage of physical silver, premiums go up, and that's part and parcel of kind of the world of being a dealer. Their excuse is that they have to pay more to get the gold and silver in from their suppliers because everything is going up these days. But at the same time, it's not always the case. So always take with a pinch of salt these claims that silver's running out. I do not personally think that we're going to see, physical silver shortages in the terms of like the mint won't be able to make the millions and millions of Eagles or Britannias each year. There is no shortage of silver in that regard, but there is this kind of semi-manipulated market out there for physical stuff. And I'm not saying, because I've never been a fan of sort of the cabal of gold and silver, dealers out there that get together and they'll orchestrate how much stock they release to the market. That's just not how it works. Businesses are all individual businesses and dealers, and some will want to just sell as much as they can, get the cash back in, buy more stock, sell more again. Others, they might be a bit more shrewd and take their time about it. So there are a variance of different things to think about when it comes to analysing what's right for you in terms of purchases. So how does this all relate to me, bringing it around full circle? So from my perspective, I'm in sort of a bit of a blessed position because I do have a significant stack of silver and gold that I've already accumulated in times when prices were not as high and premiums were not as high. So from my perspective, am I really bothered about the so-called shortage? No, because I still see, and I see every single day, the buoyant second-hand market. If you want the best prices, go to the second-hand market. Go to somewhere like the Silver Forum. Go to somewhere, your small local dealers that need to sell these things rather than the big names out there in the markets that, quite frankly, do, they do less than great things in terms of prices. There's a dealer in the UK, I think a lot of people probably know who I'm talking about. It's been shared on various social media platforms, but why not? I'll tell you. Atkinson's Bullion, I've used them loads of times. They sent out an email newsletter saying they're now paying 10% over spot price for silver Britannias, or silver. I think there was a list of various coins that they were paying customers 10% over spot price to buy, which is kind of good. Like, it's better than it was before, for sure. But when you look at their second-hand page and you know that they're selling them for, 32, 33, 34 pounds an ounce when they're paying the customer 22 pounds an ounce, that's a pretty big margin. That's a pretty big jump up, and it's just basically they need as much stock as they can get, and that's fine. What I like to think as well is that maybe the 230 odd thousand pounds worth of silver and gold that I've sold on behalf of other people has made a small dent in some of these bullion companies' amount of silver that they get in, because I know a lot of the people that I sell for, they would just go to a dealer otherwise, and I've had a few quite horrible little stories of dealers, big and small, offering, for example, 75% of spot price for gold coins for a Krugerrand. I mean, what? It's just ridiculous. I've seen evidence of it as well in the form of emails and messages that have been forwarded to me, from people saying, can you beat this price? And I'm like, yeah, they're offering you 90% of spot price for gold. Of course I can beat it. So, yeah. There's this whole relationship between dealers and like customers and buyers and sellers, and I do think it's quite interesting. So from my perspective, I'm not entirely convinced there's this massive world of sort of silver shortage, and the amount of silver out there I think is still quite high. I don't feel like it's that difficult to get hold of. It's just you have to be on your toes, and if you find the good deals in the second-hand markets, great. Don't rush out and overcommit. As always, that's my message, and it has been my message for a very long time. Otherwise, that is it from me. Thank you one and all for watching. We'll see you on the next video, and as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more. I've forgotten to do my Backyard Bullion Ramblers. I'll do it now quickly. If you're still watching, then you're a true Rambler because the music hasn't started. Thank you to my Ramblers. You're amazing. You're in the Cool Kids Club. We love you. We'll see you next time. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.